Are you ready to move abroad, but not sure how you're going to make friends, especially if you're in your 30s and beyond? When you're not moving abroad to study or to work, it can be a little bit more challenging making friends as an adult. But in this video, I'm going to go over some tried and true tips to help you make friends abroad. Hello, and if you're new here, my name is Cepee, rhymes with Peppy from SheHitRefresh.com, and I help women age 30 and over break free from a life of routine to move abroad or travel the world long term. And that's exactly what I did back in 2015 at the age of 35 when I moved from Austin, Texas to Madrid, Spain. It's been almost 7 years and I am still in Spain living my best life. Now, if you're here, you're probably also interested in moving abroad. So first, I want to thank you for checking out my channel. On this channel, I talk about moving abroad, specifically for U.S. citizens. And I'd love to invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any future move abroad content. So making friends abroad. Making friends generally is something that happens organically when we're younger. We make our friends in school, in college, and also in our work life, and of course with just the activities that we participate in. It's something a lot of times that we don't even think about making friends. It just kind of seems like it happens. But when you move abroad, you have to proactively find ways to meet like-minded people, because if you're not moving abroad with a school program or with a job to work, you're not going to be automatically surrounded by a pool of people who could be potential friends. So you're going to have to work a little bit harder, especially if you're moving in your 30s and above. I know for me, it took some time for me to really find my people and my community in Madrid. I had been living in Madrid for maybe almost 2.5 years before I really met the people that were going to be kind of my lifelong friends on this journey abroad. Now, that's not to say that I didn't have any friends before that. I definitely made friends, I would say more of acquaintances and people that I was hanging out with and going out with, but it took time to try on different friendships to find the ones that fit best. And I went through a lot of different ways of making friends. I'm going to go through those tips and what I did in this video here. But before I do that, I want to get to my weekly shout out. And this week's shout out goes to Luisa Guzman. And Luisa commented on my video, 20 pros and cons of living in Spain. And Luisa says, checks everything on my list. I can't wait to get there. Well, Luisa, thank you so much for stopping by and commenting. I cannot wait for you to move to Spain. When is your big move happening? Let me know. And if you're watching out there and you'd love for me to give you a shout out, well then just drop a comment or your question below, and you never know, you may be the next shout out that I pick. Okay, let's get to it. How to make friends abroad after 30. So the first tip that I have here is to just get the word out. So let people know that you are moving abroad. Let your friends know. Post it on any social platforms that you're on, whether that be LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Just put it out there and let people know that you are making a move, because you never know who's out there in your network that may know someone that is living in the place that you're moving to. Letting people know is just an easy and a fast way to potentially make some friends of friends, or at least just have some contacts that maybe they're not actually living abroad where you're going to, but maybe they used to live there. You never know who you can find and be in contact with who can help you make friendships on your journey in a new country. The second tip I have here is one of my favorites, and one that worked really well for me, is to join online platforms. So these are going to be different than the social media platforms that I just mentioned. This is going to be kind of online platforms, apps, and forums where you can meet like-minded people. So these are going to be spaces where maybe you don't know anybody yet, but you're going to go there to find people who are where you are moving to. And so different places that you can use are Facebook is actually one of my favorites. I know a lot of people aren't happy with Facebook, but Facebook groups are where it's at. And that's where I met a lot of the friends that I have today. So you can find Facebook groups of places that you're moving to. So for example, if you're moving to Paris, it can be Expats in Paris or Americans in Paris. Or another great tool online is meetup.com. Meetup.com is a social events site where you can find tons of different events happening in cities all over the world. It's a great place to really tap into your interests and hobbies, see what events are going on, and go to those events to meet like-minded people. It's a great place to find people that you have something in common with, which will make it easier to connect with them. So we have Facebook, Meetup. There are some groups that are geared towards certain demographics. So my group, for example, She Hit Refresh, is for women age 30 and over. There's, of course, one of my favorites, Girl Gone International, which is geared towards women, and it's a community that has chapters all around the world. So whatever your city you're moving to, definitely check Girl Gone International. I'm sure there's a chapter there for you. You can look into parenting groups, and even apps like Bumble, dating apps like Bumble, have a setting where you can look for friends, like the Bumble BFF. So not a dating part of their app, but actually the friendship part of their app. The next tip on my list is to take classes and do new things. So when you move abroad, you're going to want to explore your new city, and why not explore by doing new things? So you can take a language class. That's a great place to meet people, or not only do new things, but tap into your hobbies and interests. So you can join the gym, join a local sports league, you can take a fitness class, take a walking tour. If you love dancing, pick up a dance class, or even just study something that you're interested in at the local university or community center. So again, this is a way to meet like-minded people. If you're tapping into your interests, you're doing something that you already enjoy, and you're meeting other people who enjoy doing that too. So this can be an easy way to meet people without a lot of pressure as well. Now, I do want to state that these are opportunities to meet people. Just because you're meeting people doesn't mean that they're going to become your best friends, but you do have to start somewhere. So by meeting people, that's a way that you can even meet even more people, meet their friends, and really start finding out where your circle of friendships may be. The next tip on this list is to volunteer. So volunteering is a great way to not only do something that you enjoy, but also give back. And there are so many ways that you can volunteer. You can volunteer at a soup kitchen, at an NGO, you can work with youth, you can work with the elderly, you can work at a hospice. There are so many ways and so many opportunities to volunteer abroad. It's a great way not only to meet new people, do something that you love, but also brush up on those language skills if you're going to be volunteering with locals. I volunteered here in Malaga when I first moved here. I volunteered with the homeless at a soup kitchen, and I was the only non-native Spanish speaker there volunteering, and it was a great way for me to brush up on my Spanish skills with all of these Spaniards and Latin Americans. Next on the list is for those who have pets, specifically dogs. If you have a dog and you're taking your pet abroad, your dog abroad, well then why not use your dog in the best of ways? And when you go to a dog park, take them there and you can mingle with the other dog parents that are there. So dogs are just a great way, not only at the dog parks, but also when you're walking dogs. I have a dog here, Chloe, who you may have seen in some of my videos, my little 5-pound Chihuahua. When I'm walking her on the streets, people stop me all the time to talk about her. If they have a dog, our dogs are sniffing each other, and gives us a chance to talk to each other. So I've met a lot of people just by having a dog. So walking your dog on the streets or going to the dog park is another way to tap in to some potential friendships. The next tip here is to make the first move. So yes, when making friendships, especially after 30, you're going to have to put some energy into that and be intentional. And so you're really going to have to be brave and put yourself out there. And what I mean by this is you're going to have to ask people to do things. So if you're at one of these events that you found on Meetup or at the gym, or just taking one of the classes in one of the hobbies that you have, well, why not, when you're talking to someone, having that conversation, and you feel like it's someone that you may want to get to know better, why don't you ask them to do something outside of that context? You can invite them to go out for a coffee, have a drink, go to dinner, or even go to a movie, or do some kind of activity, or just something that you have in common that you could do together. Now, when I'm explaining all this, to me this sounds a little bit like dating, right? Asking someone out. And I think it's something important to point out, because making friends is kind of like dating. You do have to, in the dating sense, kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. Of course, with friends, it's not kissing frogs, but it is trying on different friendships, right? Going out with different people until you find the people that you feel most comfortable with that are like the best match as friends. The next tip that I have for you is to just say yes. I can't stress this enough. When you move abroad and when you're trying to make friends, you need to say yes to as many opportunities that are coming your way, no matter what. So no matter if you're tired, if you're not sure if you should go, if people are inviting you out, this is a great opportunity not only just to get to know them better, but to get to meet other people as well. You just never know what is behind a social outing. Someone that may be acquaintance may introduce you to someone who becomes your best friend. So for me, again, like I said, it took me 2.5 years to meet my people. A lot of that time in those 2.5 years was saying yes to things and trying on different friendships, meeting a lot of different people, and that led me to the friendships that I still have to this day. And the last tip that I have here for you is to invest in new friendships. So beyond making that first move and saying yes, is to really follow up and take that initiative into following up. Maybe you hung out with a friend or you met someone nice at one of your hobbies or classes that you're taking. Really follow up with that friendship and start investing, because like any new relationship, you have to nurture it for it to grow. It's not just going to happen on its own. So it's always important to remind yourself when you feel like you maybe haven't met your people yet, you've put in effort, that it just takes time. Just keep putting in the legwork there, and I promise you, you will meet your people in due time, but don't give up and just keep up the great work. Me, myself, I am in Malaga, so some of you may know that. I lived in Madrid for 5 years prior to this, just talking a little bit about my friendship journey. And after those first 2.5 years, I met my people. And I actually met my people, maybe this is a bonus tip that I can give you here, is that if you don't find community with where you're at, maybe create that community. So I met a lot of my great friends that I have now in Madrid through communities that I created myself. So I had the Madrid Blogger Network, because I was blogging at the time, but a lot of incredible people that way. And of course, through She Hit Refresh and the events that I did there. So if you can't find community, create it on your own. But in Madrid, I was able to cultivate such a strong network of friendships and community there. And then after 5 years, I moved to Malaga, and I've had to start all over. And I have to say, I've been in Malaga for almost 2 years now. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to believe that. And I am struggling also to make those friendships here. I've met a lot of incredible people, but I haven't put in the time to really nurture those friendships, and I know that, and that's something that I want to prioritize. So just remind yourself that it takes time. That's what I'm reminding myself. It's not that my people aren't here, it's just that I have to really put in the legwork to find my people, and then once I find them, to really take the time to follow up and really nurture those relationships. Don't forget that. I hope that my tips for making friendships abroad after 30 have been helpful to you. If you have any extra tips, please drop them below. We would love to hear from you. And of course, if you need any additional resources for moving abroad, please check out my digital book, I'm Out of Here, An American's Ultimate Visa Guide to Living in Europe, where I break down the 17 easiest countries to move to in Europe for Americans based on viable visa options. And there are over 50 visa options in the book. You can find the link below. And of course, if you're a woman age 30 and over, please join my online community, She Hit Refresh. You can join that at facebook.com/groups/She Hit Refresh, and you'll meet over 10,000 like-minded women there. There's tons of inspiration, information, and resources to help you with your move abroad. And last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, turn on notifications, and please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any move abroad content.